The Grand Galactic Council Hall was alive with sound. Bright lights floated in the air. Tall pillars carved with ancient symbols reached toward the high ceiling. Hundreds of seats formed a great circle, each filled with beings from different stars. Some had scales, some had metal skin, some had eyes that glowed softly in the dark. This was the heart of the galaxy, and today, it was a place of celebration. Humanity had fallen. That was the reason for the gathering. A massive hologram hovered in the center of the hall, showing a ruined human world. Cities burned, oceans boiled, broken ships drifted in space like dead insects. Many council members watched with satisfaction. The humans resisted longer than expected, said one tall, insect-like delegate, but in the end they broke. Laughter echoed through the hall. They were weak, another voice said, divided, always fighting among themselves. Yes, replied a third, emotional creatures, brave perhaps, but foolish. At the highest seat sat the High Chancellor, his many eyes focused on the hologram. Let it be recorded, he announced, that humanity has been defeated and pushed beyond known space. Their worlds are lost. Their fleets are destroyed. Their future is no longer our concern. The council applauded. Only one being did not join them. At the edge of the chamber, almost hidden in shadow, stood the Elder. He was ancient, older than most races present. His body was thin and frail, wrapped in simple robes. His skin showed the marks of time, and his eyes held memories of wars long forgotten. He had seen civilizations rise. He had seen them fall, and he had seen humanity before anyone else in this room had taken them seriously. The High Chancellor noticed the silence. Elder, he said, his tone polite but cold, you have observed quietly. Do you have anything to add before we close this matter? The Elder did not answer at once. He looked at the burning human world. He listened to the laughter. He felt the same heavy feeling he had felt many times before, right before disaster. Slowly, he stepped forward. The hall grew quiet. I do, the Elder said. His voice was calm, but it carried easily across the chamber. I asked the council to reconsider. Murmurs spread through the seats. The High Chancellor narrowed his eyes. Reconsider what? The treatment of humanity, the Elder replied, and the belief that they are finished. A few council members laughed. Elder, said a reptilian warlord, the humans lost. We defeated them. What is there to fear? The Elder turned his gaze toward him. You fear them because they lost, he said, not because they won. The laughter faded, replaced by confusion. Explain, the Chancellor demanded. The Elder raised one thin hand. I have watched humanity since they first reached the stars, he said. They were loud, disorganized, always arguing. You saw weakness. I saw something else. He paused. They adapt. A council member scoffed. All species adapt. Yes, the Elder agreed, but humans adapt fast, and they adapt best when cornered. The hologram shifted, showing old images of human history. Wars, disasters, ruins. They fight among themselves, the Elder continued, until something threatens them from the outside. Then they change. Then they unite. The Chancellor leaned forward. They are exiled now, broken. What unity remains? The Elder's eyes darkened. Nothing is more dangerous than a species with nothing left to lose. Silence filled the hall. One delegate stood. Are you saying they will return? I am saying, the Elder replied, that you have forced them into the dark. Another voice called out, sharp and mocking. They are weak, short-lived. They cannot even agree among themselves. The Elder nodded slowly. Yes, he said, they are weak until survival demands strength. Short-lived until time no longer matters to them. Divided until hatred gives them purpose. The Chancellor rose from his seat. This council will not be ruled by fear, he said. Humanity was warned. They resisted. They lost. That is the natural order. The Elder took a step closer. There is one truth you ignore, he said softly. Humans do not forget. The hall remained still. They remember every burned world. The Elder said, every broken ship, every child lost to fire. His voice grew heavier. And when they remember, they prepare. The Chancellor raised his hand. Enough. This council has decided. A final vote was cast. Humanity was declared irrelevant. Any surviving humans beyond known space would be ignored or destroyed if encountered. The decision was final. Celebration returned. Music filled the air. The hologram faded. The elder said nothing more. He turned away from the council and walked toward the exit. As he reached the doorway, he stopped. Without turning back, he spoke one last time. You had one chance to let them fade peacefully, he said. Now you will learn why some species should never be pushed too far. No one answered him. They were too busy celebrating. The elder left the hall alone. Behind him, the galaxy cheered its victory. Far beyond their borders, in the cold darkness of unknown space, humanity listened in silence and began to change. Beyond the borders of known space, there was no light. Stars were distant and cold. The space between them was wide and empty. No trade lanes crossed here. No patrol fleets watched this region. Even the oldest maps marked it as dead space. That was where humanity fled. The survivors traveled in broken ships held together by repairs and hope. Some vessels had lost engines. Others had lost life support systems that barely worked. Every jump through hyperspace was a risk. Every stop could be the last. They did not speak much. They had learned that words no longer helped. Human fleets once traveled proudly through the galaxy. Now, they moved quietly, hiding their signals, masking their heat, learning how to disappear. Many humans believed they would die here. They were wrong. The first human settlement was built inside the hollowed remains of an asteroid. It had no name at first, only a number. Then another followed, then another. Each was hidden deep in places no one would search. No cities were built, no monuments, only shelters. Human leaders met in silence. Old flags were folded away. Old titles were forgotten. There were no nations anymore, no borders, no arguments over power, only survival. Children were born who had never seen Earth. They did not know what sunlight felt like on open skin. They learned early how to repair machines, how to recycle air, how to stay quiet. They asked fewer questions. They listened more. Human scientists worked without rest. They studied alien weapons taken from destroyed ships. They studied energy systems, shields, and engines. They did not try to copy them. They improved them. Human engineers changed how ships were built. No bright lights, no large shapes, no loud engines. Human vessels became small, dark, and sharp-edged, designed to move unseen. Human soldiers trained in empty chambers where gravity could change without warning. They learned to fight without sound, without anger, without fear. This was not an army. It was a discipline. Far away, in exile of his own, the elder watched. He lived on a forgotten world, one no empire claimed. Ancient sensors still worked there, older than modern technology. Through them, he observed faint signals coming from the darkness. Human signals. They were weak, but they were many. The elder closed his eyes. This is how it begins, he whispered. Years passed. The galaxy forgot humanity. Trade grew. Empires expanded. New wars replaced old ones. Humanity became a story told only as a lesson in council halls. A lesson about weakness. Then the first silence came. A small trade convoy failed to arrive at its destination. This was not unusual. Accidents happened. Pirates existed. No one worried. Then another convoy vanished. Then a military supply fleet. Still no panic. Until patrol was sent to investigate. The patrol never returned. The council demanded answers. Scans were taken. Sensors searched the region. Nothing. No wreckage. No energy trails. No signs of battle. It was as if the ships had been erased. Rumors spread. Some claimed a new predator species had emerged. Others blamed unknown space storms. The High Chancellor dismissed these fears. Human remnants, he said once, laughing. Ghosts cannot hunt fleets. But the disappearances continued. Then a damaged ship drifted into a border system. It was barely alive. Rescue crews rushed to it. When they opened the hull, they found the crew still alive, but changed. They did not scream. They did not beg. They stared into nothing. The captain spoke only once. They were silent, he said. No warnings, no signals. They did not chase us. What attacked you? The interrogators asked. The captain swallowed. Humans. The word spread faster than fear. The ship's hull told the rest of the story. There were no burn marks, no explosion damage. The metal had been cut clean, as if taken apart piece by piece. Systems had been disabled in perfect order, and carved into the hull, in simple human letters, were 4 words. You were warned. Panic reached the council halls. Emergency meetings were called. Military leaders argued. Some demanded immediate war preparations. Others called the report false. One voice was missing. The elder was summoned. When he arrived, the chamber was quiet. The High Chancellor stood. You knew this would happen, he said. The elder looked at the hologram of the damaged ship. I told you it would, he replied. Can we stop them? The Chancellor asked. The elder was silent for a long moment. You already missed your chance, he said. They are not returning for revenge. Then why are they attacking? A council member demanded. The elder turned to face them all. They are removing threats, he said, carefully, calmly, permanently. Fear settled over the chamber like a shadow. They are not angry, the elder continued. They are focused. The Chancellor's voice shook. What do they want? The elder lowered his gaze. To make sure, he said, that no one can ever corner them again. Far beyond the council's reach, in the dark between stars, human fleets moved without sound. They did not announce their return. They did not demand justice. They simply acted, and the galaxy began to understand. Humanity had not survived the dark. It had mastered it. Fear does not arrive all at once. It grows slowly. At first, the galaxy tried to explain what was happening. Analysts studied data. Generals reviewed battle simulations. Scientists searched for new threats. None of them spoke the truth out loud. Humanity was back. Entire border systems went silent. Communication relays stopped responding. Defense platforms powered down. Without firing a single shot, no explosions were detected. No distress calls were sent. The systems simply vanished from the map. The Council ordered full scans of affected regions. Long-range sensors searched for fleets, weapons, or unknown forces. They found nothing. It was as if the galaxy itself had chosen to erase those places. Military commanders grew nervous. How do you fight something you cannot see? One of them asked. No one answered. Then came the recordings. A long-range probe, lost months earlier, suddenly transmitted data before shutting down forever. The footage was unclear, shaky, and dark. It showed massive alien warships, silent, powerful, drifting helplessly in space. Then shadows moved. Human ships appeared like ghosts, their surfaces dark, their engines cold. They did not rush. They did not fire wildly. They surrounded their targets. Precision beams cut through shields as if they were not there. Engines shut down. Weapon systems went dead. Boarding teams entered without alarms. The probe captured only a few seconds of what followed. Human soldiers moved calmly. No shouting. No panic. Their armor carried no flags. No symbols. Only numbers. When the recording ended, silence followed. The probe never transmitted again. Panic spread across the galaxy. Smaller empires began pulling fleets back to their core worlds. Trade slowed. Borders closed. Alliances fractured as trust faded. The High Chancellor called for an emergency council session. This time, there was no celebration. The chamber felt smaller, darker. Seats once filled with confidence were now filled with fear. They are dismantling us, one delegate said, system by system. They do not issue demands, another whispered. They do not declare war. They do not respond to messages, said a third. The Chancellor turned to the elder. Why? He asked. Why act this way? The elder looked tired. Because this is not a war, he said. It is preparation. For what? Someone demanded. The elder raised his eyes. For a future where humanity never kneels again. The council ordered a strike. A massive fleet, larger than any before, was assembled. Hundreds of ships, armed with the galaxy's strongest weapons, moved toward the region where human activity was last detected. confidence returned. "They are hiding," a general said. "We will force them into the open." The fleet entered the dark. At first, nothing happened. Then sensors began to fail. Communication between ships became slow, then impossible. Navigation systems showed false readings. Space itself seemed wrong. And still no enemy appeared. Then the first ship stopped moving. No damage. No explosion. Its engines simply shut down. Then another. And another. The fleet tried to retreat. They could not. Human ships emerged from every direction. Not thousands. Not hundreds. Just enough. They moved between the larger warships with ease. They did not attack the biggest targets first. They disabled command vessels, supply ships, communication hubs. The fleet collapsed into chaos. By the time the humans withdrew, the entire armada was floating powerless in space. Left alive, left humiliated. A single message was broadcast across every surviving ship. "This is your last warning." The fleet limped home. The galaxy shook. No one spoke of victory anymore. The High Chancellor requested a private meeting with the Elder. They stood alone, overlooking the stars. "We made a mistake," the Chancellor said quietly. The Elder nodded. "Yes. Can we fix it?" The Elder did not answer at once. "Humans respect strength," the Chancellor continued, "but they value memory more. You gave them both pain and purpose." He turned toward the Elder. "What happens next?" The Elder looked at the distant darkness. "They will not destroy you," he said. "That would make you martyrs. They will not rule you. That would make you enemies." "Then what will they do?" the Chancellor asked. "They will make themselves untouchable." As if summoned by his words, a human signal appeared across every galactic channel. Clear, calm, impossible to block. A single human figure appeared on screens across the galaxy. The face was plain, the voice steady. "We do not seek your worlds," the human said. "We do not seek your lives." A pause. "We seek distance." The message continued. "You pushed us into the dark because you believed we would fade. Instead, we learned. We adapted." Another pause. "Stay out of our space. Stay out of our future. And we will stay out of yours." The transmission ended. The galaxy was silent. The Elder closed his eyes. "They have surpassed you," he said. "Not in weapons, but in control." Across the stars, humanity vanished once more. This time, not as victims, but as something the galaxy would forever fear. The galaxy did not recover. It adjusted. Where fleets once moved freely, they now traveled slowly. Where empires once expanded, they now hesitated. Borders hardened. Patrol routes doubled. Sensors stayed active at all times. Every commander asked the same question before giving an order. What if humans are watching? Trade councils rewrote maps. Systems near the dark regions were abandoned. Long-standing rivalries paused, not because of peace, but because no one wanted to fight while humanity remained unseen. Fear had become discipline. In the Grand Galactic Council Hall, the change was visible. The hall was quieter. The lights were dimmer. The seats once filled with proud leaders were now occupied by careful ones. Arguments ended faster. Votes were delayed. The High Chancellor aged quickly. He called for the Elder more often now. "Reports?" the Chancellor asked during one session. The Elder reviewed the data. "No direct attacks," he said. "No demands. No expansion." "Then why do systems keep withdrawing?" the Chancellor asked. "Because humanity taught them a lesson without teaching it twice," the Elder replied. New reports arrived daily. A war between two empires ended overnight when human ships were detected near the conflict zone. Silent, unmoving, watching. No shots were fired. Both sides withdrew. A slaver fleet vanished entirely. No wreckage was found. No message followed. A military research facility exploded after activating a new weapon aimed toward human space. The blast was internal. No external strike was recorded. Humanity never claimed responsibility. They did not need to. The message was clear. Do not provoke the dark. Within human territory, life continued. But it was not peaceful. Human leaders met in deep stations carved into asteroids and dead moons. Their faces showed no joy, no pride, only focus. They did not celebrate survival. They prepared for endurance. Children trained alongside adults, not as soldiers, but as problem solvers, engineers, navigators, analysts. Everyone learned how systems failed, how power broke, how enemies thought. Humanity did not build statues. They built backups. If one world failed, another could replace it. If one leader died, 10 more could take their place. No single point of failure remained. This was not an empire. It was a network, and networks were hard to kill. The elder was invited quietly to visit a human outpost. The invitation surprised him. When he arrived, there were no guards pointing weapons, no ceremony. A single human greeted him. You warned them. The human said simply, they ignored you. The elder nodded. The human guided him through the station. It was simple, functional, no waste, no fear. Why invite me? The elder asked. Because you understand us, the human replied. They stopped before a window that showed deep space. You do not hate the galaxy, the elder said. No, the human answered. We fear it. The elder turned. Fear leads to destruction. Fear leads to preparation, the human said. Anger leads to mistakes. We learned the difference. Back in council space, regret became policy. The council issued a formal apology. It was long, careful, full of respectful words. Humanity never responded. Another message was sent. Then another. Silence. The High Chancellor finally asked the elder the question he feared most. Have we lost him forever? The elder did not answer right away. Humanity trusted the galaxy once, he said. Trust, once broken, does not return easily. A young council member stood. What if we prove we have changed? The elder looked at him. Then you must change even when they are not watching. The galaxy tried. Weapons development slowed. Slavery was banned across several systems. Border conflicts were settled by negotiation instead of force, not because it was right, but because humanity might see. Years passed. Humanity remained distant, but present. Sometimes a ship was seen at the edge of sensors. Sometimes a signal echoed briefly through space. Never closer, never hostile, never gone. The galaxy adapted to living under observation, and slowly, something unexpected happened. The wars decreased. Empires collapsed under their own corruption, not human attack. Smaller systems formed alliances based on survival instead of dominance. The elder watched it all. You have become careful, he said during one council session. Is that not good? The chancellor asked. It is necessary, the elder replied. But do not mistake it for forgiveness. One day, a human signal reached the council again. Short, clear, we see your efforts. Continue. That was all. No praise, no promise, just expectation. The council chamber sat in silence long after the message ended. The High Chancellor lowered his head. They judge us, he whispered. The elder shook his head. No, he said. They remember you. Far away, in the quiet between stars, human fleets held position. They did not seek revenge. They did not seek praise. They waited, because the galaxy that once ignored them had finally learned the truth. Humanity did not need to rule the stars. They only needed to be impossible to ignore. The galaxy reached a breaking point without a single shot being fired. Empires were still standing, but they were tired. Fleets were intact, but unused. Leaders held power, but no longer trusted it. Every decision was made under a silent question. Will humanity allow this? That question changed everything. The Grand Galactic Council met again, not in fear this time, but in exhaustion. The High Chancellor stood slowly. His voice no longer carried pride. We cannot continue like this, he said. We are alive, but we are not free. A low murmur spread across the hall. We hesitate to defend ourselves. We fear progress. We fear mistakes, he continued. This is not peace. This is survival under judgment. Many heads turned toward the elder. You warned us, the chancellor said. Now tell us, what do they want? The elder looked around the chamber. They already told you, he said. They want distance, and they want assurance. Assurance of what? A delegate asked. That you will not become what pushed them into the dark. Silence followed. A bold proposal was raised. What if, said a smaller system representative, we remove ourselves as a threat? The hall reacted at once. You mean disarm? Dissolve fleets? An expansion? The elder raised a hand. You cannot erase who you are, he said, but you can choose what you become next. The council voted on something that would have been unthinkable before. They agreed to dismantle the Grand Council's military authority. No single power would command combined fleets again. No council vote could authorize total war. Expansion into unclaimed space would stop. The galaxy chose limitation. The decision was broadcast openly, on every channel, without encryption, and for the first time in decades, humanity responded immediately. A human delegation arrived. Not warships, not soldiers. One vessel. It carried no weapons and no shields. It entered council space and stopped at a respectful distance. The elder watched the screens closely. They are brave, he said quietly, or very certain. The human representative entered the chamber alone. They wore simple clothing. No armor. No rank markings. The High Chancellor stood. You come unarmed, he said. Yes, the human replied, because this is not a threat. Then why come at all? The Chancellor asked. The human looked around the chamber to see if he meant it. The council presented their decision, their limits, their future plans. The human listened without interruption. Then they spoke. You fear us, the human said. That fear has improved you. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. But fear cannot be your guide forever, the human continued. If it is, you will break again. The Chancellor asked a question everyone feared. Will you ever trust us? The human paused. Trust is built, they said, not requested. The elder stepped forward. What does humanity choose now? He asked. The human turned to him. We choose restraint, they said. The same restraint we were never given. A murmur spread through the hall. We will not rule, the human continued. We will not protect you. We will not interfere unless you force us. And if we fail, a delegate asked. The human's eyes hardened slightly. Then we will remind you, they said, once. The meeting ended without ceremony. The human delegation left. No treaties were signed. No alliances formed. Only understanding. Years passed. The galaxy changed, not quickly, but deeply, without the Council's military control. Local systems learned to solve problems themselves. Conflicts became smaller, easier to end. Slavery disappeared, not because of morality, but because humanity's shadow made it impossible to hide. Weapons still existed, but no one dared build what they could not control. Humanity remained distant, but the galaxy no longer felt hunted. One final council session was held. The High Chancellor announced his resignation. This era is over, he said. Let the galaxy govern itself. The elder stood one last time. You ignored my warning, he said to the chamber, but you learned from the result. He looked up at the stars. Some lessons require survival to understand. Far beyond council space, humanity continued to watch, not as conquerors, not as gods, but as survivors who refused to be victims again. They had spoken once. The galaxy had regretted it. Now, both moved forward. Carefully, together, time moved forward, not with explosions, not with war, but with memory. The galaxy entered an age without a name. Historians would later argue about when it truly began. Some said it started when the council gave up its power. Others said it began the moment humanity chose restraint instead of revenge. The elder believed it began much earlier. It began the day the galaxy stopped laughing. The Grand Galactic Council Hall still stood, but it was no longer the center of power. Its lights were softer, its seats fewer. Many races had chosen to govern themselves, no longer relying on one voice to rule them all. The High Chancellor was gone. The elder remained. He sat alone often, watching the stars through the great window behind the council chamber. He had lived longer than most, but even his time was coming to an end. A young historian visited him one day. You were there, she said carefully. At the beginning. The elder smiled faintly. At many beginnings. Why did humanity forgive us? She asked. The elder shook his head. They did not. The historian looked confused. They moved on. The elder continued. Forgiveness looks like forgetting. Humanity never forgets. Across the galaxy, human space remained distant and quiet. No borders were marked. No map showed its full shape. Any ship that approached too closely received the same calm message. Turn back. This space is not for you. And ships obeyed. Human worlds thrived, not in luxury, but in strength. Their cities were underground, shielded, prepared. Their people lived with purpose, not fear. Children learned history early, not to hate the galaxy, but to remember it. Human leaders changed often, but one rule never did. Never depend on anyone who once decided your worth. The elder was invited one final time to human space. He accepted. The journey was long and silent. When he arrived, he saw a world unlike any he had known. There were no towering monuments, no statues of heroes. Instead, there were records, names, dates, places lost, not displayed in anger, preserved in respect. A human guide walked beside him. You remember everything, the elder said. Yes, the human replied. So, we never repeat it. They stopped before a simple stone marker. On it were carved words in many languages. Survival is not victory. Memory is. The elder understood then. Humanity had not won the galaxy. They had outgrown it. Years later, the elder returned to council space. His body was weaker now, his steps slower, his voice softer. The council gathered one last time at his request. I am old, he said, and before I go, I must leave something behind. He activated a recording device. This message, he said, is not for today. It is for the future, for the day when someone forgets. He looked around the chamber. Remember this, he said. The galaxy once believed strength was power. Humanity taught us power is restraint. He paused. We ignored a warning and paid with fear. Humanity could have destroyed us. They chose not to. The recording ended. The elder left the hall quietly. He passed away not long after, on a small world with a clear sky. No great funeral was held. No fleets gathered. But across the galaxy, and even in distant human space, signals paused for one full minute. Out of respect, centuries later, the story was still told, not as a myth, as a lesson. Young leaders learned it in schools. Commanders studied it before receiving fleets. Explorers heard it before leaving known space. It always ended the same way, with the elder's words. I warned them once. They ignored me. Humanity did not destroy the galaxy. The galaxy destroyed its right to control humanity. Beyond the stars, human ships still moved silently. They did not rule. They did not protect. They simply existed, strong, prepared, and watching. And the galaxy, wiser now, made sure it never gave them a reason to speak again.